Well, my friends, I'm Rick, and this is your seat at the table, and we're talking all things BattleTech. In this case, the Invading Clans, a BattleTech source book from FASA. All right. Now, of course, they came out with the Wolf Clan and they came out in the Jade Falcon Clan individually, and then they wanted to give us a book. I'm going to guess that they didn't feel that they needed to have a source book for every individual clan, which is kind of I don't know. I understand the time. It's a money it's a money issue. It's also a time issue. You want to put things out in a timely manner to keep things going. And then there's the fact that if you look back over 40 years, we have a lot more information on the various clans than we ever did at the beginning, and it's allowed them to grow and to fluff out. And so by now, they could probably put out an individual source book for each clan if they chose, a field manual or whatever. But it's a matter of we're back to ton of money and time and things like this. So this one here, let's see what it was put out in 1994. What we have here, so WolfNet Classified Report Alpha Level Clearance, Invading Clans Introduction, the remaining clans, map of the territories. So what year was this takes place? In 3058. So the clan invasion's already starting to hit a wall with the Battle of Tukayyid and other scenarios. So we got Clan Ghost Bear, a bit of its history, a bit of its inception and its growth, the Golden Century, return to the Pentagon, a bit of insight from WolfNet, Operation Revival, Wave 1 looking for a fight, the invasion begins, Wave 2 disaster strikes, Wave 3 winds of change, more insight by the WolfNet, Wave 4 renewal, Wave 5 the Roaring Bear. Then brings us to Tukayyid, the World of Fate, and some new rules. Aftermath. Occupation Zone as of July 3052 gives us the rundown of what worlds they control and what's going on them. And you can see that they got quite a few. They picked out a nice chunk of the Inner Sphere. Former Draconis Combine. Most of these worlds are from the Draconis Combine. There's some free Republic of Razzlehag. So it's kind of a mixture of both of them, and then one or two periphery holdings on the very edge of space, so on and so forth. So it goes on. Then we get the frontline unit summary of their command, all of their galaxies and their keychecks, the command keychecks, and the situation. All right. Then we get the Grizzly mech and the Kodiak mech. Then we move on to Clan Smoke Jaguar, right? So same thing, history, conception, years leading it up into the invasion of the Inner Sphere. Then we're in the middle of the Inner Sphere. Then we got the deal at Turtle Bay. Second wave, third wave, fourth wave, fifth wave. Luthien, they get their butts handed to them. Tukayyid, the Crucible, where they also get their butts handed to them. Then we get the various worlds that they controlled up until that point. Then we get their front line. We get their makeup of their keychecks and their galaxies. And we have the new mech, Cauldronborn, the Hanaku. Then we got Clan Steel Viper. We got some nice color artwork here. You can start to see that the level of art is starting to improve by now. The Battletech's not quite going in. Well, it's going into its first decade. It's almost 10 years old, and we've got 10 years worth of fan art and people who have become understanding about how and what's going on in the Battletech universe, and so the art's improving. That FASA also has a bit more deeper pockets, so they can purchase a bit more better art, and however that played out. And I'm never quite sure if these game companies buy all the stuff that they get contributed to them, or if it's literally that, contributions. So somebody who's an amateur artist who's very good, who's enamored with the genre, creates material and then submits it to them, and with the understanding that maybe you'll give me a free copy of the book, maybe a handful of free copies of the book, get my name in, you know, as credited for the artwork kind of thing, and there's no actual monetary exchange. I've heard that plays out sometimes with the writers too, at least the junior or early entry-level writers. After you've had some experience and some time and you show some popularity amongst the fan base, at that point you can start asking for money, and or they'll start offering it. But you know, if you know more about that, by all means, put a comment down. So the Battle Cobra and the crossbow. The crossbow was, like I said, the crossbow was actually introduced in the Battle Technology magazine several years prior to this book coming out. So I don't know. It's their version of an omni-mech version of the crossbow, which is actually pretty functional and a better, more modern replacement for the archer. It's I've used it quite successfully in for a couple of years. Anyway, so we got Clan Novacat. Of all the clans, at first, I really was enamored with Clan Wolf, in part because a lot of the stories revolve around Clan Wolf, and I always thought they were the white hats of the bad guys kind of scenario. But I started to really, as the more I learned about Clan Novacat, the more I read about it, the more I like the Novacats. I'm also a bit of a feline aficionado kind of sort, so it's a weirdo thing. It's a weirdo thing, fan favorite thing anyway. So I wish they had done more with them, and that they'd had better success. The Novacats, in some aspects, have been their own worst enemies. In other aspects, I think they just got the short end of the stick when it comes to the writing and development stage of things. You know, including their inevitable fate and or would-be fate, because there's still a handful of the Nova Cats around, Spirit Cats or what have you. It's just that as a clan, they've been pretty much eliminated. So anyway, right, we get our stuff in here, a bit more stuff, unit profiles for the units, more or less. I mean, they didn't go into great detail. We don't know what type of mechs make up each trinary or star, but it gives us an overview to work from and an idea. So we got the Nobori Nin. Some of these names I'll never be able to pronounce. In the Supernova, right? And Clan Diamond Shark that eventually returns to being Sea Fox. Frankly, I like the Sea Fox better than Diamond Shark. There was something off-putting about the logo when I first saw it, and I compared it to the RimWorld's Republic logo, and I thought, well, you would think that their fellow clans would be horrified and angry as all get out at the audacity to them using something even close to mimicking the great the great evil Amorus's empire, blah blah blah. Anyway, so there's a lot of good stuff in here, and the sad part is I could spend several hours. There's just, you can't really do it justice. So we're just doing a good review of the individual clans, because that's not what we're doing in this point. Right now we're just introducing the source book itself, and potentially later down the road there's value of doing stuff on the individual clans, although my versions and my opinions and takes on them would be heavily flavored once again with my versions and my opinions on the subject. Anyway, this is Rick. Until next time, you guys have yourself a great weekend.